Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Pisces, tonight we have the Death card, and I'm just gonna knock, knock, knock and see what these tea leaves are gonna tell us. So don't worry too much about that Death card. I know, we hear it, we see it, and we think, oh my goodness, what's going on? Well, sometimes the Death card is an indicator of something that needs to ending, right? It's not always like something we don't want to end. Sometimes it's the universe like kind of stepping in, right? Now, it could also be that this has something to do with a past event or even somebody in your life, okay? And you're feeling the effects of it, okay? So let's go ahead. We're going to do a little spin around here. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you want to hit the like button or comment, I would love to hear from you. All right. I want to start over here. Okay, so first of all, I see two people. Okay, they're kind of holding on to each other. One has their arm raised and the other one's kind of like, I could almost imagine really like hugging, holding, embracing, keeping them safe, you know, just really this closeness. Beneath them, it looks like we have kind of this steep incline right up here, going straight up. So maybe like a hill, or even, it kind of looks like a tower, honestly. But I'm thinking this is like a cliff, a hill, maybe some kind of plateau. Whatever it is, they're up there. They're elevated right up to the top, okay? So I do feel like there is this amount of joy in your life, a closeness with somebody. Now, it could be a friend. It could be like you're really close with your kids or your spouse, a significant other, somebody you're dating, a parent, whoever it is, right? It doesn't have to be romantic. Really, I mean, it could even be somebody at work. It could be your next door neighbor. I mean, heck, you know, so many things have been going on in the world recently, especially with weather events. We're seeing all kinds of people having to kind of align with other people in the community so they can work together to stay safe, to clean up afterwards. So, you know, it could even be somebody who felt like a complete stranger not that long ago, and now you're, you know, two peas in a pod because you've been through this kind of shared experience. Okay. Now, if we go down here, we have, look at these wolves. It really is so wild to me that these tea leaves sometimes just come up with the, I mean, strangest looking and detailed. They're detailed looking formations. And I promise you, I don't set it up. I just put the water in, I let it steep, I drink it from the sides. Now I do kind of rotate it a little bit, but these are what come out. Okay. And so we have, it looks like a dog here or a wolf, some kind of canine. Okay, we have one right here. And now we have one up here. And it looks like they're all going for the same thing. And it looks like the moon. Excuse me. We have the circle. And immediately I thought, okay, this is like lunar energy, because we have this wolf or this dog that looks like it's howling, right? Or it's getting ready to. So we have kind of an air of mystery, of shadow, of the unknown, okay? We also have this wild primal kind of stirring happening, okay? I feel like whatever's been going on in your world, it's almost like you have become, what is the, I like to say dislodged, right? In a lot of the readings, I'll say, yeah, it seems like you've become dislodged. And what does that really mean? It's like, you're going along with your life. You're going to work. You're doing your chores. You're visiting family. You're doing your, whatever it is that you do for fun, extracurricular type things, hobbies. Maybe you're involved with the community, you volunteer, whatever it is, right? And you've gotten into this beautiful, beautiful routine. You are good at, just kind of like doing all the things that you say you're going to do. You're not somebody that, just kind of lives a little bit erratically, or you don't have any kind of schedule or anything like that. I think it's, you've been in the flow of things. Well, when we get dislodged, it's like, I don't even know that it always has to be some specific event. Sometimes you just wake up. You wake up in your own life and you look around and you think, what the heck is going on here? How did I end up in this situation? I remember all the steps I took. I remember my reasoning, but now I wake up and I feel like, what the heck is going on? Why am I living like this? I never imagined I would be in this situation. And it doesn't have to be a bad one. But I think it's something that happens. And I think this is part of, our activation, our awareness. When we start to really listen to our intuition, you'll find out, right? More often than not, you are uncomfortable in situations that you find yourself, or even when you work really hard for something and you get it, you actually obtain that thing, or, finish your goal, and you get there and it feels uncomfortable. So often we tell ourselves like, hey, I should just be grateful. Hey, I worked so hard for this. I paid so much money to go to school or to buy this house, or, whatever it is. I got married to the wrong person, but it's too much, chaos to leave or get divorced. There's so much that goes into that. And we do. We sit in our discomfort. And that's okay to a certain point. But when we start really listening to ourselves, to our authentic being, right? Our true will, listening to our intuition, we start to see, some discomfort, fine. Sometimes we have to compromise. Sometimes we have to, give in and watch Octonauts or whatever my daughter loves watching right now. It's not my favorite, but she loves it, so I'll do it, But then there are things that are just, it's hard to live that way, right? You become aware of like, I don't think that this is for me. And I think that's kind of where you are at. Now, I don't know exactly what it has to do with, but I feel like if you can think of a pack of wolves when they come upon something and prey, of course, and next thing you know, they're taking it down, and then they are swarming, and they're upon it. And that hunger, that frenzy, that wild stirring, there's no other thing that's like it, really, right? And I feel it in you. I feel that wildness in you. I feel that need to just let it all out. Find something for yourself that is moving, that is meaningful, that it fills you up in some way. Or it's a release. You know? I've talked about a lot of times on here, for me, it's like primal screaming. Thankfully, I live out in the middle of nowhere now. I used to live in town, and I would still go out and scream behind my garage. My neighbors probably thought I was, nuts, but, sometimes you just do. You have to go, and you have to find somewhere, and you have to scream it out. For me, it was very cathartic. I also cry a lot, so that's also helpful. Screaming and crying. But whatever it is for you, I can feel this need, this thing that you're looking for. And I don't know what that is. But I do know we have the moon, right? And the moon indicates to me that this is about going into self. This indicates to me that there maybe is some shadow work that needs to be done. Now, if you're not familiar with shadow work, go look it up on the internet. It is a Jungian concept, and it has a lot to do with kind of facing some of those things within ourselves that we really do hide from, right? Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. Whatever that is, I don't identify with it, but it is a part of you. And even if we choose to ignore it or hide it or push it down or whatever, it'll only grow. It'll only get stronger, and it will show up in your life. Now, it could be from your behavior, your coping mechanisms, your emotional well-being. It can also manifest as other people. I hear a lot about stuff like, what is that thing called? Karmic relationships, where I guess the whole thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that people have, dysfunction. They're just literally dysfunctional relationships, and they have them because they think that they're, working on their dharma, their karma, right? They're balancing their karmic debt, and that is part of the dharmic work, right? I don't know. Maybe that's real. I'm not sure, but it sounds terrible. It doesn't sound good. I think oftentimes we find parts of ourselves in other people. We find what we know. We find what we have experienced. We find the lessons that we need to learn in other people. And that doesn't mean that how they behave, or if they are mistreating you, or if they're just, straight up bad people. You don't deserve that. I'm not saying that this is something that anybody deserves, but it is. We do look for these things in other people, and they manifest in our lives. And if we don't break the cycle, it will continue to do so. Okay? So, I feel you really getting into this place where it's like an old self is kind of dissipating, kind of falling away. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you are at an age where you're kind of going into the next part of your life, right? Like if you're a young adult, you're going into your full adulthood. You're in those 30s, having kids or whatever, or pets and plants and real big, I was going to say real big kid, real full adult jobs and all that kind of stuff. Debt, right? Or maybe you're going into middle age or into your golden years and beyond, okay? But I do feel like there is this kind of threshold that you are going through. And I think that this is a big reason why, you're really kind of looking at your life for what it is and what you want it to be. I also think that your unconscious is really driving you here as well. Okay, now I just want to look here real quick. And I almost feel like it looks like there's a person here. It looks like we're going up a ladder. It reminds me of Jacob's ladder, or Jacob's ladder, as you might say. And this is kind of a image of a ladder that goes up into the sky, right? It is also an alchemy, kind of representative of the saying, as above, so below, right? On all levels, in all spheres, everything reflects itself. Okay, so this is why, and if you have ever looked at, you know, micro or macro cosms, or even, you know, like natural images of things. Like if you look at, well, things like our nervous systems, pictures of nervous systems, or, you know, how an eye looks like a nebula, or the nervous system looks like trees, or whatever. Everything is reflected on every level, okay? And so Jacob's ladder is kind of this idea of trying to ascend, right? From the lower spheres, the Malkuthian, which is the physical world, okay? Trying to ascend into those higher realms of being, okay? Getting closer to the divine, really. And you could also think of this as maybe like enlightenment, okay? Now, we see that it goes up, 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 and then it kind of looks like it curls over, and it looks like we kind of have like these fleeing animals and people. And so I really feel like this is an indicator of your real like conscious and intentional, what's the word? Well, attention on, yes, I think your spiritual work. And I think that it's very intentional. I think that you're at a place where, well, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You've been out maybe looking for like self-help books about, you know, religious or spiritual practices. You're looking for answers. You're looking for something that maybe you haven't heard of, or maybe something that catches your eye. But I feel you really in this place where you're searching for something that will bring greater meaning to your life as you are evolving into this new chapter, okay? And so I can see that this is going to be a wild ride for you. And I think that once you start to find something that really does speak to you, a system, a religion, you know, maybe you are, well, like if you're a Christian, perhaps, you know, you might be going from one denomination to another, right? Maybe you've decided, well, I don't, you know, I'm not going to go to the church that I grew up in anymore, or maybe the church that I went to with my kids and they grew up in it or whatever, and now I'm looking for something a little different, and you're beginning that journey, okay? Yeah, and it's a wonderful time. I mean, for me anyways, I quite enjoy looking for new things to study and to practice and so on. So it's always like really exciting. Always really exciting, that's for sure. Now, I wanted to look, we have the number 7116, so 7,100 and, what did I say? 7176, it looks like a 7. 7176, so 7,176. Also, we have EST again, established. It feels like it says, or estimated, but I think established, that's what I immediately thought of. We also have the number 10 and the sign of the woman. Okay, so like the circle with the little cross thing underneath it. So I'm looking at this and it feels like there's a lot of just like waiting. We have the house up here. Waiting to see what happens. And I wonder if you are having some kind of work done, or maybe there's something that you feel like, okay, we need to get this fixed, but there's not the money there, or whatever it is. And you're kind of just waiting and seeing. And I think that this is something that's bringing you some stress. But I'm looking at this and we have birds kind of sitting around outside. And I feel like, and I'm not telling you to put anything off, by the way, but I feel like this is going to be much less complicated than maybe you think in your mind. Okay? You know, it's like if you had to go get something done with the car, right? And you take it in and you're like, oh, please don't be anything else. Please don't be anything else. And, you know, you go in there and they're like, oh yeah, no, it was fine. We could just put a little patch and we, you know, blew it up. Or I'm thinking of tires, right? It's going to be $70 or whatever versus, you know, thousands of dollars. I think that definitely it will be something that ends up in your favor. Okay. Now, I just want to kind of see what the next few days are going to be like for you. Once you watch this and this reading is activated, this will be for like the next week or so after. Okay. And we're just going to stop and I'm going to pick about 3 of them. Publicity. Let's see. Originality. Escape. Detachment. Ooh, that one was manipulation. Negotiation. Ooh, what's going on here? Okay, so this one doesn't feel very good. And it feels like an old thing, though. And I honestly feel, as soon as I started to see these last cards, even this one, I felt like you have somebody from your past. I'm thinking it's an ex, but maybe not. It could be like a parent or a sister, possibly. But I feel like this is somebody who is so manipulative, so angry, so venomous. Like, they will tell anybody they can get to listen, right? And they have problems with so many people. And there's always some kind of thing going on where they're the victim. And it feels like, you know, I can imagine you getting caught up in the situation. And I'm wondering if it's like, if it's the ex or maybe a parent or a sibling, right? Because it almost feels like you were stuck. Like you felt stuck. And especially if you were young, right? Of course, you're like, where are you going to go, right? This is your family. You have to usually do what you can to just kind of get by until you can move out, right? And the escape, that's the thing. And I feel like you've had a detachment. You absolutely don't partake in their manipulation if you can help it. But I feel like in the originality, it's like this person is so good at being an awful person that it's like they're coming up with new ways to torture the people around them. Like it's almost surprising, right? You almost want to give them like an applause because of the way they can think up how to cause a disturbance within the family or the community that you are involved in, or, you know, whatever, whoever you're connected with, okay? And publicity, I just think that they, you know, they're like on the internets. I mean, that's what it is. They're on the internets, probably on one of the social medias, right? Slandering everybody they can. You know, and I'm laughing because we all know a few people like this at least, right? And, you know, ultimately, I feel like there's no negotiation, by the way. Do not negotiate with a person like this. All you can do is detach, put up the walls, and let them move on, right? Because they will get bored. If you disengage and you don't get involved in all of it, usually they'll move along, okay? And if not, I don't know. You got to file a report on them or something. I don't know what you do about that. But I do think that this person, I mean, and listen, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I'm going to. They sound like they suck. So stay away from them, okay? I'm sorry if I'm talking about your mom. I hope it's not. But yeah, it just sounds like somebody you would not really want to be around for very long. So just stay away. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do 3 lucky numbers. I think we're going to go with 91. 91, 88, 91, 88, 52. All right, 91, 88, 52. What else do we have? Oh, yes, here we go. We're going to do and this just punctuates the reading, okay? These are our inner child oracle cards. I was going to say affirmation cards. They're not affirmation cards, but you all know how much I love affirmation cards. If you happen to have any affirmation or oracle decks that you want to recommend, go ahead and do that in the comments. If there are some that you just love, let me know, okay? Because I'm always looking for good affirmation cards. Okay, here we're going to just go through and stop where it feels right. And it says, listen, I'm going to do this one, but I want to do another one because I've gotten this 3 times recently. So we have 29, run wild. Let your inner wild child run forth. Let your inner wild child run forth. I'm going to pick from a different part. Maybe in the back here a little bit. Okay, let's see. I just want to do a different one. Also, find your haven. There is a place of wonder waiting just for you. There's a place of wonder waiting just for you. Okay. Now, I think that's it. All right. Pisces, I want to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these. I was looking in the little view thing at this cat. I got my husband one and I got myself one. Shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is the one they were like blind boxes. And so that means you don't know what you're going to get. You just buy the box and then you open it and it's like one of 5 or 6. Well, he got this one and he wanted, I think it's like the black cat with the UFO. It has like a little UFO around it. That's the one I got. But I felt bad because he really wanted that one. So I gave it to him. And that's okay because this one's super cute. I like it. It's a little space. What are they called? Like an astronaut. I swear, I can figure it out. And I guess they're called Smoko. So, anyways, I got sidetracked looking at that little beauty there. If you, let me just say, if you want to like, comment, or subscribe. Please go ahead and do that. Subscribing is free. And if you want to leave a comment, definitely do that because I read them all. And I love hearing from you. Yeah, that's it. Pretty jumbled reading, sorry. I'm all over the place. I've been glued to the radio and the YouTubes, listening to the stuff about the hurricane coming in down in Florida, Milton. And just praying, really praying that it breaks, it's not as powerful when it hits. It just, I don't know. It's a lot. It feels, I have a lot of anxiety about it, even though I'm way up in the north, but still, I'm praying that everybody is safe. We saw what happened just a few weeks ago in North Carolina and in Florida, right? All in Georgia and South Carolina and Tennessee, all of the places that were affected by, what is it, Helena? No, Helen, right? Helena? I don't know. I forget. I'm like, it's already out of my mind. Helen, I guess. And yeah, so I don't know. It just, one after another is devastating. So we're going to pray. I hope you are praying as well. And it's going to be good. It's going to go okay. Everything's going to be good. So we'll talk in a few days. I love you. Good night.